Today on the channel, we begin our 5-part look at the G.I. Joe Haslab Dragonfly XH1 helicopter and figures on where I got it figured.
The way I got it figured.
What's up, figure fans? Well, I got it figured, back with another G.I. Joe classified series review. This time it's going to be looking at the Dragonfly Haslab. Obviously, I got this Haslab. I backed the campaign, got it, came in the mail, all of that. And it showed up, I guess, in November. It was November when it came out. And of course, I went to Phoenix, Arizona. There was a lot of stuff going on also around household and everything like that. So I wasn't able to get the video up in December, which probably worked out for the best because I had a bunch of other stuff to review in December anyway. But we are going to get it on film, get it on video, and it starts today. So the way I plan to do this is take a look at the box. I'm going to get it out. I'm not going to unbox it on screen. I'll do the assembled Dragonfly copter in the same video as the box, but I'm going to go over the box, then go over the helicopter, and each figure in turn. So every figure in the set has a collector's number. The Dragonfly copter itself has a collector's number, so we're going to sort of go that route, collector's number wise. Although I think the Dragonfly copter review itself may be last. I like to do big videos on the weekends, so I might do figures first and then get to the Dragonfly last. We shall see what develops. But to start off, you got some nice artwork of the Dragonfly copter, sort of a fleet of them flying towards what most likely is Cobra, and it looks really cool. They did some changes to it, of course, but we'll get into those. But I really like the artwork. It's nice. What else can I say? We got your G.I. Joe classified series down here, 14 plus, showing that, hey, this ain't for the kiddies. It takes up a lot of real estate, so you have to bear with me for a second while I ensure that some of my leavings, including sharp objects, don't fall off of my review table. Probably should have done that beforehand. So we've got some continuation of the artwork on the side of the box, of course. The G.I. Joe logo continues around it. On the back of the box, you have a continuance of it, but it's more side art, but it's still a continuation of the same sort of fleet battle pictures from a different angle. And the final piece of artwork there, actually showing one of the custom stickers, the teeth sticker, so you can kind of get a tiger fly out of it. And like I said, all of this artwork is really cool, really amazing. It's quite heavy, so you can't just do whatever you want with it. So on the bottom, you've got a schematic drawing of it, and it shows so you've got a Dragonfly logo, a Night Force logo, and a Ghost Hirokos, Los Commandos Hirokos, and a bunch of schematics. I'm not gonna go over them. I'm sure somebody probably did it in a video somewhere, but it looks cool. And then finally, you've got the other side of the box with the Dragonfly XH1 logo, very large, 6-inch, 15 centimeters, 6 inches, or is that, can't be 6 feet? That doesn't make sense. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a 6-inch helicopter, 6-foot wingspan. Yeehaw champion G.I. Joe. And it looks cool. Everything's cool. The box is cool. You should expect that from Haslab. They go all out on the package, as they did with his tank last year, as I expect they'll do should they continue doing Haslabs for G.I. Joe. We're not really, the future of Haslab is sort of uncertain right now, but you know, it is what it is. So next we're going to get the Dragonfly out, and I'll have it assembled, and we'll get back to that very shortly. All right, so we've got our Dragonfly XH1 out of the package. It's fully assembled. The only thing I didn't put Wild Bill in the cockpit. Guess we'll do that next. But here's your full splendor of the XH1 Dragonfly helicopter, and it's massive and it's glorious. So you got a lot of customization options on it. As we know, the Dragonfly copter is a fictionalized, modified for G.I. Joe version of the Bell attack helicopter AH-1 Cobra or Super Cobra helicopter, and it's really cool. They've done some changes to it to make it look more like the Huey Cobra than the Dragonfly copter of old, but I'm not really complaining about it. It looks cool either way, brought up to kind of a modern sensibility. Yeah, I think we got a lot to show for what we paid for. So just in its base form, there's plenty kind of you can do with it. You have your, of course, spinning propellers, even though I don't know who's spinning propellers. You can do it. You got your rocket launchers, fully with blast effects. You got the pontoon style rocket launchers, which you didn't have back in the day. You just had like you had the bomb, 2 bombs, 4 missiles, and you had the winch. And of course, the winch now is an optional thing. You can have it on or have it off. And then you can have also these mini rockets, which are definitely much more realistic to the Huey Cobra. I actually didn't use them. I decided to go more traditional. You get the label sheet, which I didn't apply any of the labels. I'm not going to apply any of the labels. I'm just going to leave it stock. You have I guess what the experimental nature of the Dragonfly is you have these extra boosters on the top. The real Huey Cobra does not have those. So going a little bit more realistic, they added these boosters here, but the Huey doesn't have those. They just have these two. The Dragonfly Copter, of course, had circular boosters that sat on the back here that weren't those. If for nothing else but to differentiate it from an actual Huey Cobra. You do have the light up effects, of course, which I did not put batteries in to utilize those effects. I'm not going to show it in this video. There's plenty of other Dragonfly videos up. You can watch those that will go fully in depth. And it's not that I don't want to go fully in depth, but my setup sort of makes it difficult for me to do it as well as I would like. I do like that they gave you the hatches. So on the original Dragonfly, you had this whole panel would come off. You could see the engine and stuff. They were repairing it. You have another hatch here and on the other side. I think on both sides. So that's really cool. The tampos that they put on it already really make it to me that you don't have to do anything. What I probably would say I missed the most is on the, see, I'm knocking my set over here, as you can see, is the chin gun. It's just a straight realistic Gatling gun type machine gun that you find on the regular Huey Cobra. The Dragonfly had the machine gun and like a grenade launcher that was on mounted together. And they even had a variant of it, or I guess maybe like the original first run of the Dragonfly. Those guns were articulated, sort of like this. So this gun can articulate. The original Dragonfly had the articulated guns until they switched it to a non-articulated gun. And I don't have a Dragonfly Copter anymore, but I still have an articulated gun because the one I got as a kid did not have the articulated guns. It was on the catalog, but growing up, it was like a myth. It was like a thing that you thought wasn't real. But in my early 20s, I acquired one, and I keep it as a kind of a prized possession in a sense. On the other side of the Dragonfly, well, from the front, you got the excellent view. The canopy lifts up like the old school one did, and you have the windows that open on the side. That's an extra added bonus. And this window opens over here, and then you have the giant machine gun, which the original Dragonfly did have. And now you have these two here. So on the original Dragonfly toy, you only had one. There was a one on this, I believe on the left side. And but now you have two. So I guess that's sort of making up for the fact that they took away the chin gun, the double chin gun. So it's still just as armed, just they switched up how they were doing it. And you got the heat effect on the barrel like you did with the Diablo cannons on his tank. Really like that. And yeah, you know, it's a dream. It's a dream project. That's what Haslabs are. It's really cool. The box is super heavy, but once you get it together, because it's lengthwise mass and not widthwise mass, it's really very light. You can handle it very easily without issue. So I think now what I'll do is put Wild Bill in the cockpit so we can get the full picture of the Dragonfly copter. Be right back.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe!
It's Major Blood and the Cobra Copter. They're after Gung Ho. Get the G.I. Joe Dragonfly Copter. Wild Bill to the rescue. Major Blood, look. Let's get out of here. Cobra's turning tail. Want to lift, good buddy?
G.I. Joe! American hero!
G.I. Joe Dragonfly Copter comes with Wild Bill, other figures and equipment, each sold separately from Hasbro. Now, back to G.I. Joe.
All right, we're back, and we've got Wild Bill in the helicopter, as well as some of the blast effects on the helicopter. So I wanted to definitely caution you when you go to put Wild Bill in the helicopter, try and get him in the seat and everything, it immediately becomes clear why the hat with the hair on it is important. If we're going to display Wild Bill in the helicopter, that's probably the hair to use. So the ordeal of getting him in there, it wasn't that hard, but it was a little hard. A couple of things happened. His pistol, one of his pistols got hooked in the seatbelt and it came out and I had to get it out. Glasses fell off. Had to put those back on. And I had the hair on with the helmet as I did, the hat as I did in the Wild Bill video. But it was just like overly complicated, and maybe I have, clumsy hands or whatever. But it became clear that it was going to be much easier to just put the 2-stage hat on that he comes with in the package to sit in the Dragonfly. So he's in there, and it does bring to mind that in the real helicopter, the pilot sits in the back. In the G.I. Joe version, at least on the box, Wild Bill is in the front. Another thing about that is on the side of the helicopter, it says Lieutenant W.S. Wild Bill Hardy. And there was a sticker that you put on both of these to say who was who. There was another guy whose name, he wasn't even like a G.I. Joe, a named character. You had 2 names. But I don't remember if it said Lieutenant W.S. Hardy on the sticker. I don't remember. I might have the Dragonfly blueprints, and I'd have to find them and look at it. But on Wild Bill's file card, he was a chief warrant officer. He wasn't a lieutenant. And so that's always kind of been a difference in potentially a difference. I don't remember if it said lieutenant on the original Dragonfly. I have to look it up. But via Wild Bill's file card, he's a chief warrant officer. So, even back in the day, they didn't get everything right when they were discussing military type things. But that said, this is the Dragonfly. You got all your sort of effects going, and what can you say about this thing, man? That it's definitely worth the money that was spent on it. I feel like the value is there. So with that, I'm going to move on to final thoughts. Final thoughts on G.I. Joe Classified Series number 140, the Haslab Dragonfly X1 attack helicopter. Man, this thing is great. It's definitely worth every penny, in my opinion. What I spent on it, it's worth the wait. It was worth the sitting in the box for a month and opening it, wait. It was worth all of it. I'm over the moon with it, except for one thing, and it's not really the fault of the helicopter. It's, where do I put it? Where do I keep it? Where do I display it? Where do I store it? It's massive. It's 34 inches long. It's, you can look at it on a box and say, yeah, it's 34 inches long. But until you see it assembled in splendor and its grandeur, you don't really get it. The his tank, of course, is a big, chunky tank, and it does take up a lot of space, but it doesn't take lengthwise space. It sort of takes widthwise space. So you have to figure out where you're going to put this. And I did not back the Rattler. I didn't back it. Obviously, as a G.I. Joe Classified Series collector and content creator, I do have a regret about that. But I don't have a regret about it from the standpoint that I have nowhere to put it. I technically don't have anywhere to put this. If you keep the rotors like this, then you can probably stick it somewhere and it'll sit there and everything and be fine. But it's big. It's very large. Space is a premium. So I went on and on and on about the space. That's the one big flaw of the entire Haslab vehicle type of deal, G.I. Joe Classified Series vehicle type of deal, is the size of the figures being 6-inch figures. The vehicle then has to be scaled towards them, and that makes massive vehicles. It's just the way it is. So I don't want to be moaned at and knock the Dragonfly for it, because honestly, I decided to buy it. It was my choice to buy it. Even having misgivings of the space consideration. So, all that said, I think the figures it comes with are great. The Dragonfly itself is amazing, and it's a 10. For G.I. Joe, it's definitely the toy of the year. I mean, it's not a mainline thing, so I guess I wouldn't necessarily say it's the toy of the year for G.I. Joe Classified Series that everybody can obtain. You have to buy into this, and I always sort of set them off to the side because not everybody's going to get one. So, and that be whether that be by availability or by choice. But if you did buy this, I can't see how you wouldn't be happy with it. I just can't. And I'm sure the same thing will be said about the Rattler. I'm not going to get the Rattler though, because the wingspan alone, once again, we're going wide, so I just don't know where I would put it. So, final analysis: the G.I. Joe Dragonfly helicopter is an amazing premium toy, and I'm glad I got one. I love all the extra features they put in it. I might do a video later where I put the lights in it, or I'll just have it in the video or whatever with the lights on and everything, since I didn't put the lights in. But even without the lights, I'm super happy with it. So I think those lights are like super optional. But there you have it. That's the Dragonfly. And if you got one, congratulations. If you didn't, there are legit reasons not to get one. And there are sort of not legit reasons not to get one. But I don't bemoan any of them. It's not for everybody. It's just that simple. So that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for listening to me rant and ramble. There was one last thing that I did promise that I would do that I did not deliver. in the last video, which was Crazy Legs. So I'm going to do it now. And that is to show the assembled box art of the 4 figures together. And that looks great. So we got that. All the promises were delivered. And now we can get set for the next video. So that's going to do it for this one. That's all I got to say. Next up for G.I. Joe Classified Series will be the top 10 G.I. Joe Classified Series figures of 2024. So come on back for that. And then we'll take a break from Classified for a short time. There's new figures coming out, Leatherneck and Xandar, and who else? Saw Viper are starting to show up. Hasbro Pulse has delivered them. Probably going to be showing up at US retail any day now. So, you know, we still got those to do. We still got, really, I still have 2 left to do from the last wave, Alpine and the Iron Grenadiers Bat. So there's plenty of G.I. Joe Classified Series coming. So till next time, happy collecting. Everybody stay safe. See you on the next video. Peace.
The way I got it figured.